On the day of my wedding to Prince Jing, his childhood sweetheart snuck fertility-destroying poison into my nuptial wine. After she got caught red-handed, Su Yuanyuan sobbed and begged for mercy, claiming it was just a little prank, and then had the audacity to enter the mansion as a concubine to help me fulfill my duty of bearing heirs. And my own husband, Prince Jing, just gently told me to be the bigger person, saying that since I didn't need to give birth, Yuanyuan would do it for me, and asked what was wrong with that. From then on, I was just a ghost of a princess, a title with zero actual power. Su Yuanyuan dominated the inner chambers, popping out 2 sons and 2 daughters, and became so famous that everyone forgot Yun Kanyue even existed. Until the day Prince Jing was about to be named Crown Prince, he and Su Yuanyuan stood by my deathbed with a cup of poison, laughing as they spilled the tea on their scheme. If it weren't for your father's military power, why would I have let you sit in the main consort's seat for so long? If you were still alive, how could Yuanyuan ever be the crown princess? They forced the poison down my throat, and I took my last breath listening to their disgusting laughter. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on that exact wedding day. Your Highness, please. The princess and the prince shall share the nuptial wine. The attendant cheered in the bridal chamber. I stared at the cup in front of me. Su Yuanyuan really was desperate, moving so sloppy she hadn't even wiped the powder residue off the rim of the cup. My eyes turned ice cold. I calmly picked up Prince Jing's cup and swapped it with mine. I want to share this drink with you, Your Highness. They say couples who swap cups are destined to stay together forever. Yes, if I am in you and you are in me, we shall grow old together. Fu Chungjing took the cup and downed it in one go. The noble women watching nearby giggled and cheered. The cup had barely touched the table when someone kicked the door open. The intruder whined, "Oh my, why did you two finish the wine so fast?" It was Su Yuanyuan dressed in a way too flashy outfit for a guest. Seeing my empty cup, she covered her mouth in shock, her eyes instantly filling with fake tears. Your Highness, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it, I just wanted to tease the princess a little. There's a folk tradition about wedding nights, I just wanted to play a joke. So I put some medicine in the princess's cup. I immediately let out a terrified shriek, my face draining of all color. You did what? Why would you put medicine in my wine? The crowd started whispering in confusion, and someone tried to step in to mediate. Miss Su, even if you and His Highness were childhood sweethearts, tonight is his wedding night. How dare you pull a stunt like poisoning the wine? Why would you go out of your way to ruin someone else's nuptials like this? Fu Chungjing stood up to shield Su Yuanyuan, then glared at me with a frown. Your Highness, she is Su Yuanyuan, the daughter of my wet nurse. We grew up together, so she's a bit spoiled and bratty. Don't pay her any mind. He finished, then turned a dark, icy look towards Su Yuanyuan. What the hell are you doing? I told you no games on my wedding day. How dare you pull such a move? I couldn't care less about their cringy display of intimacy, and coldly pressed the issue. Miss Su, spill it. What kind of poison did you put in my wine? My lady-in-waiting finally snapped out of it, and screamed, Quick, get the imperial physician. Su Yuanyuan grabbed Fu Chungjing's sleeve, sobbing like a mess. Your Highness, it was an accident. When I was heading to the manor, I passed by an apothecary and saw someone selling a barren worm poison. I thought it was interesting, so I bought some. I just wanted to slip it into the consort's drink, so she'd be submissive to you later on. I was going to stop you both before you drank it. But the floor was slippery, I tripped, and I was just a second too late. I didn't expect the consort to have already downed it. I clutched my chest, slumping at the table. A barren womb poison? This is the nuptial wine, personally gifted by the Emperor. How dare you poison it? Bold and delusional. Someone get in here. Drag her out. Su Yuanyuan shrieked, sobbing like a storm into Fu Chungjing's chest. Your Highness, I didn't mean it. I really didn't. Besides, we don't even know if this stuff is legit. What if it's fake? Are you really going to beat me to death just because of some unverified potion, Your Highness? Can you? Yuanyuan is still young. She was just playing a prank and didn't want things to end up like this. Rest easy. You are the official consort I chose. Even if you drank the poison, I won't strip you of your title. Su Yuanyuan shot me a teary-eyed look. It's all Yuanyuan's fault, but it's too late to say anything now. Your Highness, please let Yuanyuan make it up to the princess. The princess drank a sterility potion and can no longer conceive. Yuanyuan is willing to enter the manor as a concubine. Any child born will be handed to the princess to raise as penance for my sins. Honestly, it's giving the exact same script as my previous life. Too bad I'm officially done being a Delulu pushover. I frowned and snapped. You caused me to become barren, which is an attack on the royal bloodline. That's a literal death sentence. You have some nerve. Fu Chungjing caught her with one arm and glared at me, totally siding with her. Enough. Yuanyuan has already apologized, and it clearly wasn't intentional. Today is a day of celebration. Are you really going to execute her over some mysterious, unverified potion? Can't you show some grace, as the principal consort should? Always nitpicking and playing the victim, is this real how a principal consort acts? He said it with so much confidence, like I was just throwing a tantrum for no reason. Looking at his dismissive face, I felt a bone-chilling coldness in my heart. It was exactly like my past life. He'd always lecture me on having grace and not being petty. Back then I just swallowed my pride, thinking I was being mature, only to realize I was playing right into their hands until it all ended in tragedy. Thinking of that miserable end, I clenched my fists. He's really going to brush off someone poisoning his wife that easily? Does Prince Jing really think this is fair to me? Some random wet nurse's daughter poisons me, and you're just going to ignore the reputation of the Duke's house? Fu Chungjing's face darkened instantly. It's already done. What more do you want? Do you actually want to beat her to death? Like I said, she didn't mean it. The chaos in the bridal chamber had already leaked out, and the guests outside definitely heard the tea. The Empress sent her personal maid to advise me, claiming the issue was serious, and Wan Yuan would eventually be punished. But she insisted that, since today was the royal wedding, I shouldn't make a scene and embarrass the imperial family. Perfect. It's not your flesh, so you don't feel the pain of the needle, right? I lifted my head to stare Fu Chungjing down. Your Highness truly thinks poisoning me is just a small, forgivable mistake. Fu Chungjing was too busy coddling a terrified Su Wanwan. All right, Wanwan already apologized. Have her copy the women's precepts 10 times and stop making a scene. Imagine poisoning the princess consort to make her infertile, and the only punishment is copying a few lines of text. I nearly laughed out loud, but only because I was absolutely livid. It's a good thing that in this regression, the one drinking that fertility-killing poison isn't me. The ladies-in-waiting around us looked uncomfortable, whispering, "Princess, maybe call a royal physician? It might not be too late to fix this." Su Wanwan immediately shut it down. Absolutely not. Calling a physician on the prince's wedding day? That's a total omen of bad luck. Fu Chungjing gave a small smile. Wanwan is so thoughtful as always. Let's just call them tomorrow. It's not like one night matters. Your Highness, our mistress is your official wife, and she's been poisoned. Why does the physician have to wait until tomorrow? My nanny was choked with rage, but I just looked at Fu Chungjing again. Your Highness, you really don't intend to hold Miss Su accountable? Fu Chungjing flicked his sleeve. I've already said my piece. Wan Wan was just playing a little prank that went a bit too far. She's even offered to raise a few children under your name. What more could you possibly want? You've been holding on to that wine cup and causing a scene all through our wedding night. If you don't want to be princess consort anymore, just step down. There are plenty of women who would kill for the spot, and they definitely wouldn't be as petty as you. I smiled, gently tracing the rim of my cup as I looked at him. I'm petty? I'm only doing this for your sake, Your Highness. I enunciated every word, because the person who just drank from my cup was none other than you. The words left my lips and Fu Chungjing's face went ghost white, as he roared, "What nonsense are you spewing?" I pointed at the cup in front of him, the rim still visibly dusted with that terrifying powder. I pouted. During the wedding vows, didn't I swap cups with you to pray for our eternal bond? Did Your Highness already forget? The cup I drank from was yours, and the cup you drank from was the one Su Wanwan, laced with the fertility poison. Su Wanwan stared at me, completely shook. She looked at the cup on the table, snatched it up, and shrieked at Fu Chungjing. Your Highness, did you drink from this one just now? Fu Chungjing's face turned pitch black. He was speechless. Su Wanwan started screaming, pointing her finger right at me. This woman is truly heartless and evil. This cup was meant for her to drink. Why did she make you drink it instead? Exactly. That cup laced with the infertility poison was always meant for me. In my past life I drank it and lost all hope of ever having children, living a life of total despair and agony, while forced to watch them act all lovey-dovey and start a family. And my Yun clan gave everything for Fu Chungjing. My father and brothers even died on the battlefield, just to help him steal the throne. After he finished using me for everything I was worth, he ended my life with a bowl of poison. His words from my past life still ring in my ears like a bad breakup anthem. Tam Quet, as the official princess, you need to be more open-minded. She doesn't need your status. Wan Yuan just wants to enter the estate as a concubine to bear children for you. What else could you possibly be dissatisfied about? In this life, the sterility poison was brewed by the woman Fu Chungjing loves most, and the wine was sipped by Fu Chungjing himself. Let's see if he's still feeling so forgiving now. Thinking this, I gave Su Wan Yuan a sarcastic look. Do you know that the prince drinking sterility poison means the end of his bloodline? You've just attempted to sabotage a royal heir. That's a capital offense punishable by total execution of your entire clan. Su Wan Yuan shrieked. I didn't try to hurt the prince. I was trying to ruin you. My expression darkened as I stepped forward and slapped her hard. Crack. It was loud enough to wake the dead. You dared to lace my drink with sterility poison? You've got some nerve. Do you even know that I am the Princess of Jing? How dare you pull this stunt? Now that the prince has swallowed the poison. Do you have any idea what's coming for you? Fu Chungjing collapsed into a chair, roaring, "Get the imperial physician." Oh, so now he wants a doctor? I scoffed internally, but put on my best concerned face and covered my mouth. But your highness, didn't you say that calling for a physician on our wedding night is bad luck? And that we should wait until tomorrow? Nanny Li had already turned pale, scrambling to call the physician and drag Su Wanyuan away. Attempting to harm a royal bloodline is a death sentence for your entire lineage. My wedding night with Prince Jing descended into absolute chaos. News spread to the front hall, and the imperial physician, my parents and my brother, all rushed over in a panic. Seeing my mother, I threw myself into her arms. "Mother, father, you have to stand up for me. That Su Wanyuan tried to feed me sterility poison. And Prince Jing actually tried to cover for her. He told me I was petty and didn't deserve to be his princess. Now that the prince has drunk the poison himself, I don't know if he'll ever be able to have children again." I sobbed dramatically into my mother's chest. It's so good to see my parents still here. My brother is safe and sound, and in this life I'm protecting my family at all costs. I'm not letting Prince Jing lay a finger on them ever again. My brother stood by, absolutely livid. What a joke, claiming my sister isn't worthy of being his princess. So, my sister is supposed to just be magnanimous, after getting dosed with a fertility-destroying poison? It's real easy for Lord Jing to talk big, but now that you're the one who drank it, why don't you keep that same energy? My sister is the legitimate daughter of the Duke's estate. Are you saying she should just roll over and take it because a wet nurse's daughter decided to poison her? Who does this Su girl think she is, anyway? The Duke's estate isn't going to let this slide. Su Wanyuan was forced to her knees in the courtyard. Brother Chengjing, your highness, I didn't mean to hurt you. It was Yun Junyu. She framed me. She forced you to drink it. The imperial physician took one look at Su Wanyuan and shook his head. Where did this fertility-destroying poison even come from? The potency is lethal. Whoever did this was trying to leave no crumbs. Your highness, I'm afraid you'll never be able to father a child again. Since Su Wanyuan wanted me to be infertile, she obviously used the strongest dose. There's no turning back from this. Lord Jing's vision went dark. He nearly fainted on the spot. Do you even know what infertile means? For a prince, that's literally game over for the throne. It's the ultimate death sentence for his royal ambitions. Fu Chungjing's eyes went bloodshot. I'm going to kill this wretched woman. Then, he tried to grab my hand. Junyu, thank God I still have you by my side. I swatted his hand away like, are you joking? Who would ever want to be married to an infertile prince? A moment ago, your highness said, if I didn't want to be the princess, I could just walk away. So I'm telling you now, I'm officially resigning from this position. Why on earth should I be the one to pay the price for the mess your precious Wanyuan made? Does the Duke's estate look like a joke to you? My brother stepped in front of me and barked. Just a moment ago, when it was my sister being poisoned, your highness didn't just refuse to punish her. You actually had the nerve to lecture my sister on being magnanimous. Now that it's happening to you, you should probably try showing a little bit of that same grace. You are a prince, after all. Fu Chungjing's face turned every color of the rainbow, right as the Empress's voice echoed from outside. She stormed in looking absolutely pressed. My Jinger, what is the meaning of all this? The head servant spilled the tea on the whole situation. The Empress went nuclear. Lock that girl up, take Su Wanyuan and slap her until she's dead. Right on cue, the wailing of Lord Jing's wet nurse could be heard from outside. Your highness, please. For the sake of your old nurse. Su Wanyuan was out here sobbing, like her life depended on it. Your highness, Wanyuan and you were childhood sweethearts. I'm just a clueless girl. How could I ever hurt you? How could I ever harm you? It was all that snake Yun Tanyue who framed us. Fu Qingjing heard her wailing. He was torn between blinding rage and a total soft spot for her. Drag her away already. How dare this petty wench plot against a prince? The guards rushed in to haul Su Wanyuan away. But she screamed at the top of her lungs. You can't kill me. Your Majesty, I am carrying the prince's flesh and blood. Please, I beg you to spare my life. As soon as that dropped, the whole room was shook. Fu Chungjing lunged forward, grabbing Su Wanyuan as he gasped, Wanyuan, what did you just say? Su Wanyuan threw herself into his arms, sobbing, Your Highness, I'm 2 months pregnant, it's your child. Do you really not want us anymore? You promised you only wanted me to carry your heir. That's the only reason I slipped that drug into the wedding wine. I just couldn't bear the thought of another woman bearing your children. Your Highness, everything I did was just because I loved you too much. She committed a capital offense, but since Prince Jing is now barren, she is basically his only hope for a legacy. Even the Empress didn't dare make a move. Fu Chengxing looked at the Empress. Mother, Wanyuan is carrying my childhood now. She's my only hope. You can't kill her. The Empress signaled the royal physician to check her pulse, and surprise, surprise, she was indeed 2 months pregnant. The Empress sighed and looked at me. Princess Jing, since it's come to this, the only option is to let Su Wanyuan into the manor. As long as you agree, the child in her belly will be registered under your name. Raise it as your own legitimate heir. What do you think? I dropped to my knees immediately. Your Majesty, the prince and I haven't even finished the wedding rites. We aren't officially husband and wife. Besides, the prince and Miss Su are clearly in love, and their drama has led to this. Plus, she's carrying the royal bloodline. Tan Yue has no interest in being a third wheel between the prince and Miss Su. Furthermore, that child is the only heir Prince Jing will ever have. It deserves to be born legitimate. Your Majesty should just bless them and make Miss Su the princess. This consort voluntarily annuls the engagement. From this day forward, I and Lord Jing are strangers, and we move on to our separate lives. My parents and brother also knelt, begging the Empress to grant the annulment. Fu Chengjing was shook. He didn't expect me to actually call it quits. He stared at me, totally oblivious, asking, Yue, why do you have to break it off? Is it because I can't have kids that you want to ditch the manor? I gave him a cold look and shook my head. Your Highness, just now, when you thought I was the one who drank the potion, you were out here playing favorites with Smiths, treating your actual wife like trash. Now that she's carrying your only heir, isn't me leaving exactly what you wanted? Me breaking off this engagement is literally serving your agenda, right? Fu Chengjing shook his head. No, I don't consent. We've already performed the rites. You are my consort. I'm not letting you go. My father stood up and looked him dead in the eye. Lord Jing, I gave you my daughter in marriage. But before you were even officially wed, you already had a child with another woman. Getting a bastard before your legitimate heir is even born. Where exactly do you put the dignity of the Yun family in all this? I threw him a look of pure sarcasm. Your Highness, if you want me as your consort, I am absolutely not swallowing this level of disrespect. Unless Su Wanyuan gets rid of that baby, I might let her enter the manor as a mere concubine. Otherwise, I am not about to watch a bastard take the lead, nor will I let this manor be ruled by a child born of her. If she aborts the child, I'll consider staying as your consort. Your Highness, are you willing to pay that price? Fu Chengjing looked like he'd been struck by lightning, stumbling back step by step. No, impossible, that's my only flesh and blood. How could you even suggest that? I scoffed inside, staring him down. Why wouldn't I? You want your kid, I want my family's reputation protected. And besides, you're the one who let this mess happen in the first place, aren't you? Fu Chengjing finally slumped to the ground, defeated. The Duke's manor isn't just some random household. My father and brother command tens of thousands of elite troops. Even the Empress knows better than to push us too far. Looking at Fu Chengjing's pathetic state, the Empress glared at him, clearly wishing she could knock some sense into his thick skull. But under the eyes of the entire court, she had no choice but to sign off on our annulment. The tea spilled fast, the Duke's manor ditching Lord Jing, combined with the news that he'd been drugged into infertility by his nanny's daughter, became the talk of the town. The Emperor is absolutely spiraling and losing his mind that Prince Jing is out here enabling Su Wanwan to cause such a disaster. He got absolutely roasted by the Emperor, and the Empress even sent her people to lecture him. Do you have any idea how much work this queen put into securing that alliance with the Duke of Zhengguo for you? And yet, you're out here acting a fool over your wet nurse's daughter. I've already had your wet nurse sent off to the countryside estates. Once Su Wanwan delivers the baby, this queen will handle her personally. Your best move now is to get on your knees and beg Yun Shunyu for forgiveness. She is the legitimate daughter of the Duke of Zhengguo. Show some respect. If you can't marry her, you better make sure no one else gets to either. If one of your brothers snags Yun Shunyu while you're out here with no heir, and with no way of knowing if that kid in Su Wanwan's stomach is a boy or a girl, I'm terrified you'll lose your shot at the throne entirely. The military power held by the Duke of Zhengguo is the ultimate prize every prince is thirsty for. Having the backing of the Zhengguo estate is basically having the most elite squad behind you. Fu Chengjing returned to the manor, and Su Wanwan immediately threw herself at him. Your Highness, is it my fault that you got scolded by the Emperor and Empress? If they want to blame someone, let them blame me. I deserve death, but I was just so jealous. I was terrified you'd catch feelings for that Yun girl, and ghost me, which is why I did such a stupid thing. But I never expected Yun Shunyu to be such a snake. She literally swapped our wine cups. She clearly knew what was up, otherwise, how could it be such a convenient coincidence? I love you so much, why would I ever want to hurt you? A dark villainous look flickered in Fu Chengjing's eyes. Right, if those wine cups hadn't been swapped during the ceremony, would he really be in this mess? He kept thinking about what the Empress said. If he couldn't have the Duke's daughter, no one could. Any noble house I marry into that doesn't align with his political agenda is an automatic enemy. And the second I got back to the Jungguo estate, with my parents and brother, my father shut the gates, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Since the engagement with Prince Jing is cancelled, expect some major drama soon." With the crown prince spot still vacant, I bet other princes. Mother wiped away her tears. Is my Xin Yue really destined to become a mere pawn in their power games? Marrying off Yeoer is basically chaining our Zhenguo mansion to their chaotic political sinking ship. I suddenly remembered my past life. After father and brother died on the battlefield, Prince Jing literally planted fake evidence to frame them for treason. Back then, only General Huoqing stood up for us, refusing to believe that the Yun family would ever betray the kingdom. He went through hell and back to find the receipts, clearing my family's name and restoring the honor of the Yun legacy. I was locked up in the prince's manor at the time, only hearing about his heroics through the palace maids. For such a massive debt of gratitude, all I could do was kowtow toward the border from my crumbling, tiny courtyard. Thank you for protecting the Yun family, my love. Snapping back to reality, I looked at father and brother. Father, I want to marry General Huoqing. They were both shook, but after a moment, father burst into a hearty laugh. Good girl, you've got an eye for quality. Huoqing has never been married. He and I go way back, he's practically my protege. Plus he commands the military. Not even a prince dares to cross him. If you marry him, that would be absolutely perfect. My brother seemed to recall something. A year ago, before the emperor's decree, Huoqing actually asked me if my sister was engaged yet. Could it be that he's been down bad for her this whole time? Father slammed the table. We can't waste a single second. I'm heading to the Huo estate right now. Before I could even get a word in, father took off like a literal whirlwind. Mother tried to shout a warning from behind, but it was too late. Father had already vanished, leaving mother to stomp her feet in frustration. Good grief. What kind of bride's family rushes to a man's doorstep to beg for a wedding? The drama father feared was about to unfold exactly as expected. My engagement to Prince Jing had been cancelled for less than 2 days. First, the second prince, Prince Qing, showed up to propose, and shortly after, Prince Jing appeared too. Fu Chungjing gave Prince Qing an ice-cold stare. Brother Qing, Xingyue was meant to be my wife. What do you think you're doing? Prince Qing just laughed. Chungjing, your engagement to the Yun family was already called off. The emperor gave his blessing, and the whole city knows it. As the saying goes, a daughter as fine as her has 100 suitors knocking. Why shouldn't I be one of them? Lady Yun is the standard for elegance and intelligence in this capital. If you couldn't treasure her, why deny others the chance to? Fu Chungjing gave him a nasty, sarcastic look. Fu Chengyu, everyone knows exactly what your ambitious little heart is after. Do you really think everyone else is as delusional as you are? Why did you even marry the legitimate daughter of the Yun family? Everyone knows why, don't they? Tam Nuet is my fiancée. I'll explain everything to her once the wedding ceremony is over. Once I've cleared the air, I'll take her into my estate again. She's destined to be my princess consort, so stop dreaming. The two of them were standing in the courtyard, bickering like absolute messes. Just then the sound of wedding drums and music erupted outside, creating quite a stir. Goodness, look at all those betrothal gifts. Wow, they really weren't lying when they said every house in the city was clamoring to marry the Yun daughter. A crowd started gathering outside the Duke's estate, the gossip getting louder by the second. Prince Khan and Prince Kan looked toward the entrance, only to see a matchmaker in a festive red robe walking in. Trailing behind him was a nobleman in exquisite silk, radiating major main character energy. Congratulations to the Duke and Duchess. Today, the great cavalry general has come to your estate to propose to your daughter. Prince Khan and Prince Khan were completely shook. The man who entered was none other than Cavalry General Huoqing. The Duke and his wife hurried out from the back courtyard to receive him. Oh my, please come in, please come in. They then looked at the two princes with an air of polite distance. Your Highnesses, did you hear about our happy news and come over to celebrate? My word travels fast. We only just finalized the betrothal, and the princes already knew. Fothua Khan narrowed his eyes at Huoqing, his face darkening. Since when does a cavalry general have any history with Tam Nuet to be coming here with a proposal? Huoqing smiled. Your Highness, marriages are decided by parents and matchmakers. I may be an orphan, but the Duke is my mentor. Marrying his daughter has always been my goal. Miss Yun is a gem of a woman, and hearing that her engagement to the prince has been called off, I was terrified someone else would snatch her up, so I begged my mentor to let me have her. Miss Yun has already given her blessing, which is why I'm here to propose. Fothua Khan's face went black. Tam Nuet agreed to this? That's impossible. How could she ever like someone like you? A brute of a warrior like you, how are you even worthy of her? I stepped out from behind the screen and cut Fothua Khan off. Your Highness, I suggest you watch your mouth. I think General Fu Qi is actually a top-tier man. He's brave and fierce, literally holding the country down, In Tam Kwiat's heart, he's the ultimate hero. So what if he's a martial man? If it weren't for warriors like him, you wouldn't even have a peaceful life of luxury here in the capital, Your Highness. Fothuakanj stared at me, suddenly having a delusional lightbulb moment. Tam Kwiat, is that why you're insisting on breaking our engagement? Because you've already been hooking up with Hoak Than behind my back? No wonder you don't even want the title of princess. Turns out you've been busy playing the field with another man. Is this really the upbringing of a noble daughter from the Van family? I was so mad I was ready to snap back, but Hoak Than stepped up, shielding me completely. Watch your mouth, Your Highness. Don't you know how important a woman's reputation is? Not everyone is like to Uyen, obsessed with seducing men, hooking up before marriage, and getting knocked up before even entering the household. You might love that kind of loose, manipulative woman, the nanny's daughter, but my fiancée is a woman of true breeding and class, and I won't let anyone disrespect her, period. Try it again, and don't blame me for being unpolite. Fothuakan stepped forward, his face looking absolutely murderous. Is that so? Let's see if the Emperor listens to you or me. Right on cue, a shout echoed from outside. The imperial decree has arrived. Fothuakan's face lit up with toxic confidence. It must be the Empress Dowager begging the Emperor to force our marriage again. Tam knew it. I told you, you're only ever going to be my princess. I'm not letting you marry anyone else. The eunuch walked in holding the golden scroll, looking hyped. By the grace of the Emperor, hear the imperial decree. Van Tam Kwiat, the noble daughter of the Duke, is elegant, wise, and truly virtuous. I hereby grant her hand in marriage to General Hoak Than. After the wedding, I was officially named a second-rank lady. Kong Chu and I knelt before the decree, offering our thanks. Fu Chungjing screeched, impossible. How could the Emperor grant her marriage to Huo Qing? You knew I wanted to take her as my princess, he shouted, but literally no one cared. Prince Khan, on the other hand, was unbothered. After all, marrying her off to Huo Qing was way better than handing her over to Prince Khan. The cavalry general is a decorated war hero. What a match. I'll definitely be there to toast to your wedding, he quipped. Ha 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 ha. Prince Khan then looked at Fu Chengjing with pure shade. You and Lady Yun clearly weren't meant to be, so just be a girl boss and let it go. I heard your new princess is just a wet nurse's daughter, and get this, she's already pregnant. Talk about a glow-up. A wet nurse's daughter. The title Princess Can hit him like a face slap. Everyone in the capital knew he was infertile, and hearing it rubbed in his face was wild. It was honestly such a blatant humiliation. Prince Khan wasn't finished. He just had to pour more gas on the fire. I wonder, is the baby a boy or a girl? He laughed his way out of the room. If Su Wanwan's baby turned out to be a girl, Prince Kan's future in the royal succession would be straight up toast. I sent my father's shadow guards to keep a 24/7 watch on the Kanch estate. Word was that Su Wanwan and her mother were low-key hunting for pregnant women, due around the same time, using the excuse of hiring wet nurses to smuggle them into the palace. I brought it up with my father, my brothers, and Huo Qing. I told them, I have a feeling this isn't just about hiring help. I'm terrified they're planning a swap-the-baby scheme. Exactly. If Su Wanwan gives birth to a girl, they'll definitely use a hired wet nurse, who delivers a boy to pull a fast one on the throne. Huo Qing contemplated for a second. I'll have my people watch their estate like a hawk. If she actually dares to mess with the royal bloodline like that, we're gonna have a front-row seat to her total downfall. Prince Kanch was the Empress's legitimate son, the frontrunner to be the next crown prince. If his firstborn is a girl, his path to the throne is basically dead, so they'd do anything to secure his status. The political atmosphere in the capital was messy, and the day Su Wanwan went into labor, those wet nurses, hidden in the estate, were all forced into early labor with induction drugs. After a day and a night of total emotional damage, Su Wanwan finally delivered the baby. Ignoring her own exhaustion, she scrambled to sit up and hissed, "Is it a boy or a girl?" Her mother whispered back, "It's a girl." Fu Chungjing slammed the door open, practically kicking it off the hinges. "You useless bitch, you dared to give birth to a daughter? You've ruined me. You know I'm infertile, and now you give me a girl? I should kill you right here." Su Wanwan hit the floor with a thud, rolling out of bed to grovel at his feet. "Your Highness, please, I beg you, don't kill me. Wan has a plan. I've already got the wet nurses in the palace on my payroll. They took labor-inducing drugs yesterday, so they've definitely delivered by now. No one knows if I had a boy or a girl, so I'll just swap the baby for the wet nurse's son, and the Prince Jing estate will have its rightful heir. Only heaven and earth know of this, and there will absolutely be no third person alive to tell. Once it's done, I'll just serve the wet nurse a cup of poison and call it a day." Fu Chungjing was stunned, then suddenly realized, isn't this a genius move? Guards. Find out which wet nurse had a boy, and bring him here immediately. Soon enough, a baby boy was brought in. Fu Chungjing held the boy with a cold smirk, then turned, grabbed the baby girl on the bed, and clamped his hand over her nose and mouth. Within seconds, the baby girl took her last breath. Take her to that wet nurse, give the woman a cup of poison, tell everyone she died from complications during labor, and bury her in a coffin tomorrow. Prince Jing was absolutely buzzing to have an heir. The news reached the palace the very next day. The Empress was thrilled, thinking, good, my son finally has an heir. Now I need to pick a proper princess consort for him. That way, the child can be officially registered under the consort's name. Everything will be strictly legit. Su Yuan thought she'd hit the jackpot and secured her future, thinking that since Prince Jing couldn't father any more children, the princess consort spot was totally in the bag. Who would have thought the Empress would go ahead and start scouting for a real bride? She was still just a side piece in the estate. She couldn't even manage to land the title of secondary consort. She wept, questioning Fu Chungjing, why, I gave you a son. Why are you marrying someone else? Fu Chungjing snapped with zero patience. If it weren't for you, would I even be in this mess? Do you really think someone like you is worthy of being the princess consort? If people found out my wife was the daughter of a wet nurse, where would I hide my face? A princess consort needs a high-status family and powerful backing. What exactly do you bring to the table? Su Yuan stared at him, completely shook. What? You clearly said you didn't care about those things. You said you only loved me and would make me your princess consort. Fu Chungjing shoved her hand away, his tone freezing. That was then, this is now. Wan, be a good girl. Once the princess consort enters the estate, if you keep pulling this drama, not even I can save you. As long as you're obedient, you're still the child's biological mother, and the estate will make sure you're well-fed and clothed. Prince Jing's child is the emperor's eldest grandson. At the 100-day celebration, the emperor and empress presided over the event in person. The empress, wanting a double celebration, chose the Minister of Revenue's daughter, Xie Baozu, to be the princess consort. The imperial decree was read aloud right there in the middle of the banquet. Su Yuan went pale. Xie Baozu, who had entered the palace with her mother, gave a coy, smug look at Prince Jing after bowing to thank the emperor for the decree, and said, Your Highness, since Sushi just gave birth to your son, her health must be quite fragile. Our estate has a manor with hot springs perfect for recuperation, so why not send Sushi there to recover for a while? Once she returns, she'll be in better shape to continue bearing heirs for the prince. What a load of absolute nonsense. Continue bearing heirs? She just wants to ship her off to the middle of nowhere, and whether she ever gets to come back depends entirely on the new princess consort's mood. Su Yuan looked at Fu Chungjing, desperate for him to step in. Your Highness, I can't leave you or our son. I don't want to go to the manor. Fu Chungjing said coldly, Yuan. This is the princess consort's decision. Just go stay there for a while. Once you're healthy you can come back, and as for the baby, just leave him to the princess. She'll treat him like her own, so don't you worry. Xie Baozu smiled at Su Yuan. Rest assured, Sushi, once I enter the manor, the child will be registered under my name and raised as if he were born of my own womb. The color completely drained from Su Yuan's face. She grew up in this palace and had seen every dirty trick in the book. This is just a classic case of the powerful elite killing the mother to keep the child. Fu Chungjing knew exactly what was happening, but he showed zero mercy and agreed without a second thought. This was the man she thought she'd spend her entire life with. For the sake of power, she was nothing more than a pawn he could discard whenever he pleased. Your Highness, the princess consort is trying to get rid of me to steal my son. She wants me dead. If you don't care about our history, at least respect the fact that I gave you a son. Have you already forgotten about our child? Her voice carried a hidden threat that only the two of them could understand. Su Yuan actually had the audacity to use the secret baby swap to blackmail him. Lao Yao, shut her up and drag her out. She's causing a scene at the child's 100-day banquet. Su Yuan struggled for dear life. Aren't you afraid I'll spill the tea? Before she could finish her sentence, they silenced her and hauled her away. Prince Khan stepped forward and told them to let her go. Su Yuan looked like she had more bombshells to drop. Fu Qingjing's face went purple. This is a private family matter for the Jing prince's estate. Prince Khan scoffed. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Prince Khan's men shoved the guards surrounding Su Yuan aside. Su Yuan dropped to her knees, her eyes burning with nothing but pure disappointment and hate. Your Majesty, this child wasn't birthed by me. I originally gave birth to a girl, but Prince Jing had her strangled. The second she dropped that bomb, the entire banquet hall went dead silent. Wait, what? Prince Jing actually had the audacity to kill his own daughter? So he pulled a total switcheroo just because it was a girl? Talk about pure villain energy. Killing your own flesh and blood is next-level toxic. No wonder, I remember now. On the second day after the Jing estate announced the birth, There were rumors in the mansion about a wet nurse who died during labor, and a coffin was carried out. Fu Chungjing lunged and kicked Su Wanyuan right in the chest. You manipulative bitch, you're trying to frame me. This child is my own flesh and blood. Prince Khan stepped in and stopped him. Prince Jing, why the rage? Whether it's your blood or not, a simple blood test will settle this right now. Fu Chungjing backed away, stumbling, why should I have to prove anything? This concerns the royal bloodline, Prince Jing. The emperor finally spoke up. Chungjing, if you're innocent, what's the harm in a little test? Guards? Bring a bowl of water and let Prince Jing and the child perform the blood test. The empress looked like she was about to faint on her throne, while Fu Chungjing went ghost white as the royal physician pricked his finger with a needle. Before the child's blood could even be drawn, Fu Chungjing collapsed to his knees, begging the emperor for mercy. This son didn't mean to deceive you, father. It was all Su Wanyan's idea. She's the one who put me up to it. He shoved all the blame onto her without a second thought. But it didn't matter what he said. The Cat for the Prince scandal was caught in 4K, and the prince had officially lost the emperor's favor. The emperor looked at him with nothing but pure disappointment. Because the prince was now barren, and his character was permanently stained. He had dared to mess with the royal bloodline, a death-worthy offense. The emperor ordered him under house arrest, forbidding him from leaving his estate without an imperial decree. As for Su Wanyan, she was sentenced to immediate execution for conspiring against the crown. The only reason she'd been kept alive until now was because she was pregnant. But now that the child was dead, she held zero value, and the only path left for her was death. Su Wanyan's eyes rolled back as she fainted, only to be dragged off to the dungeon to await her final day. The second prince had officially won. The rival prince was barren, disgraced, and under house arrest. No chance of a comeback here. As for how Prince Kang appeared at the perfect moment, Huo Qing explained, I had my people leak the news about the prince's dirty schemes to the other royals. They were dying to catch him slipping, which is exactly why they jumped at the chance. So Prince Kang stepped in at the most critical moment, dealing the prince a total face slap and a fatal blow. The prince was officially cancelled. I let out a long, shaky breath. The nightmare of my past life was finally over, and I wasn't going to live in fear anymore. Now I have my father, my brother, my mother, and a fiancé who will have my back for the rest of my life. On the day of my wedding to Huo Qing, he took my hand and led me to the bridal sedan. His hand was large and firm, gripping mine tightly as he whispered, Tan Wei, don't be afraid, I've got you. Beneath the red bridal veil, I smiled to myself, I'm not afraid. I settled into the sedan, listening to the wedding music, and as the procession began, I moved steadily toward a future that